So, um, good afternoon to all the present in the room, and those who are online also. My name is Ricardo Deus. I'm head of division of climate change from Portuguese Institute from Sea and Atmosphere. Well, my presentation will be focused on the application that we developed for supporting the agroclimate or the agriculture sector. And I will present this demo, and I will do a demo here for you to see. Just small context for the IPMA, which is a Portuguese state laboratory whose mission is to promote and coordinate scientific research, technical development, innovation, and providing service to the fields of the sea and atmosphere, ensuring that the implementation of national strategies and policies and the areas of activity, contributing to the economy and social development. Also, and driven from this mission, IPMA is a national authority in several fields, namely meteorology, climate, seismology, and geomagnetic. Also important and driven from this mission, it's the fact that IPMA lies on four pillars: the pillar of develop, the research, the field also of cooperation, and also the things related with the operational component that we need to support or address. Resulting from this, we provide several information for all the major economic sectors, namely energy, health, industry, tourism, insurance, education. Mainly is similar to other institutions like IPMA, and this is the sectors that we provide data. Of course, for this example, we will focus on agriculture sector. So this focus, it's kind of this presentation will be focused on application, as I mentioned, that we will provide and is providing data for the agroforest sector, which is a mix of two sectors in one. So a small context in the terms of agriculture. As you all know, since the beginning of civilization, human migrations follow the most favorable conditions to survive, and among them, of course, climate is one of them. Also, this relation between the climate and civilization will become more important, and with a relation with more connections, since as humans, as transition for nomadic lifestyle to a most sedentary lifestyle, where we adopt some social organizations issues. Also, the agriculture sector was transformed since the last century with a lot of changings. Most important, of course, is the motorization and mechanization one, and also the species with the selection of species with more potential of production, and of course the use of fertilizers, which is also relevant for this sector. Of course, another thing that appears was the pressure coming from the green agriculture, which is basically the pressure that coming from the consumers putting on the sector for trying to generate their products with a less impact carbon footprint, which is relevant also in the sector. And also, of course, also related with a kind of pressure putting on the sector, it's the need to improve productivity, ensuring the minimizing the impact on the natural system. The natural system is just what we consider the atmosphere and the ocean. Well, everything that is involving on this sector. Of course, another challenge that is going on is more related with the using of technologies. Since maybe the beginning of this new century, the technology was bringing up to the activities, putting all this technology on favor of the production. So it's a challenge for IPMA, because in this case IPMA is one of the providers of meteorology and climatology information, helping to the the stakeholders and making the best decision to supporting their activity. Of course, this fits in the Portugal context. Portugal has defined a strategy for agriculture, which relies on 3 or 4 points. One of them is the creating the context to digitalization. Of course, it's very relevant. Also, increasing the volume of information available for free, of course, and for their integration of this information on their decisions making and bringing more high speeds on the decisions and increasing the conditions to investment. This is kind of thing that is really relevant for us. In relation to the specific project, it was a kind of response of IPMA in relation to the synergies created around the sector with IPMA. And in this case, we for several years, IPMA has making some meetings, formals and some informals with the sector or the several segments from the sector, and this new concept of ancient agroclimatic bulletin was developed to create to become more technological, using the data that IPMA provides, of course, be more innovative. Of course, it is also a demand of our modern times, and also important also is to create something that is more easy to use. And this is the project. This project will bring these two components, and also, of course, bringing more data to the circuit. All these things are more aligned with what we can call the user experience that we are acquired since these 3 or 4 years that we are meeting regularly with the stakeholders. And this is very relevant because the work that we did is more effective in relation to the production units that we are dealing with. So the two major objectives that we have on this project was to provide vital information, meteorological and climatology or climatological, based on forecast and analysis. Analysis based essentially on the data that we acquire in our networks. We can call it the surface networks or also the remote networks. Also the forecast, and for that we are using the European Center model, which is one of the models that we develop in consortium with other countries in Europe. And of course, this information is vital to the key players of the sector to increase, so they can increase or they have conditions to increase their productivity. Inside this project, we decided to create a segment that we call it the warnings for agriculture. And it was kind of a challenge for us because we, beside the warnings that are defined in the more scientific context, when we bring these warnings to the application context or the sector or the productive sector, the things are a little bit different, and I will show you on the presentation a little bit more forward these points. Of course, we didn't change the name of bulletin because from the last times IPMA is related, or there is a relation of IPMA with the agriculture sector based on this bulletin. It was kind of a physical bulletin, a paper or a report that was done with the frequency, monthly frequency, and we maintain this characteristic of the relation. But mainly this digital platform is now incorporating a different way to see the data. And what I want to say with this is that we transform our data in the units, administrative units. So the data is statistically significant for that units, like councils, like districts. So, and also one thing that is really important is that we keep the daily basis information for observation and also for the numerical weather prediction. So this is mainly the two sources of data that we use: IPMA data and European Center model data. what are the beneficiaries of this project? This list of sectors or subsectors from agriculture are the ones that are already on board. So what we are realizing is that the time that we are using now is to how can I say, it's to create more a stable relation between IPMA and the stakeholders and the unit productions. So this is mainly the sectors that are really at the moment involved with us, like rice, corn, fruits, cereals, olive groves, also nuts, vineyards. That is one of the major activity in Portugal, as you know. And with these sectors, we develop or we implement that warning system based on these phenomena, like scalds, frosts, hot and dry periods, strong wind and mildew for vineyards, and persistent rain. So this is the kind of the phenomena that the warning system is working actually on. So I will just talk a little bit about this warning system. So the warning is based on the indicators and thresholds and regions and periods of the year. So this warning can be configured and tailored by the stakeholders. What I'm trying to say is that we implement, realizing that what we normally do, that is we provide the warnings based on our knowledge. On this project, we changed a little bit our approach. It was beside the warnings that we normally use and are used to implement, we decide to give the ownership to the owners or to the stakeholders. What I'm trying to say is that each sector can define their warnings and their thresholds. So they are building their own warnings. This is kind of tricky. Also, for me it was, and still is kind of tricky, because we are used to have the knowledge that's really fit in the business. But this is a wrong idea. We are just providing data, but we don't know nothing about the business. They know the business. They know how to parameterize, or they know how to put the thresholds. They know how to define the period of the year where the warning is really important. And this is kind of pragmatic. It's a change in our approach. And it's kind of, I think it's a very important achievement, and the results are very interesting at the moment. So another thing that we are doing, we are providing this warning based in 10 days forecast. So each agriculture or each association of a certain segment from the agriculture side can use this 10 days window to adjust to their needs. Mainly from my point of view and from the experience that we are having with the sector, they are using it for making short management, short period management, small intervention on the field, small. It's kind of a day management. Also, another challenge that we face, we changed the context that we are using the model or the numeric model. We normally use the deterministic model, and for this project we changed for the ensemble model, which means that we have, for each forecast, we have 50 results. So we create a statistic on these 50 results, and we have a kind of an average approach, which is more nice than only have one, and give us the importance and can give the user the importance of knowing what is uncertain related with the forecast. So this is also a huge change that we put on this project. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we have the spatial and temporal representation based in the administrative units, and the time frame of 10 days with the update being made every day. Of course, this is kind of the characteristics of the warning system that is implemented on the application. This is the example of how the warnings are created. This is an example for the vineyards, for instance, where they defined that the scald was mainly based on the maximum temperature and the level of humidity less than 30%. This is kind of simple things that the application do, just combining parameters and give the warnings, adjust to that parameters. This is kind of easy and simple examples. As I mentioned, the scalp is used for vineyards. The frost is also used for vineyards and corn and fruits. Strong wind is being used also for vineyards, which is mainly using all the warnings. The warnings defined. Important to know these warnings are parameterized by each period of the year, and which is related with the evolution of the culture along the year. Besides the warning system, we implement a procedure that allows the users to not only have the result of the warnings, but also interact with the data. So this kind of points or this action on the application will give the opportunity to the users to interact with data with a more dynamic way and in more simple way. And it is basically is an interface that allows this interaction with the administrative units, the spatial variation, the spatial integration, the model uncertainty. This, and of course, this all is all available in using the normal options from the menu from the application. Of course, we incorporate the model uncertain, which is relevant, and this is also a challenge for us because it's really difficult for us to explain the uncertainty of a model. And I believe it's even more difficult for agriculture side to know how to use this. And this is something that we're still working on because we need to find a better way to transmit the idea and the concept of this uncertainty and how they can incorporate this on their business. This is something that we need to improve, and I believe there is space for improvement on this matter. And of course, we are only talking about forecasts now, but the application also incorporates data that was observed. So we have a window of 10 days for the past and 10 days for the future. So it's a kind of 30 days window of data, of course, divided on these two approaches. And also, one thing that we just incorporated last week, it's a weekly forecast for the window of 4 weeks. This was another challenge for us, even more than the daily forecasts, because it was needed to transform this information in the way that people could understand easily the data and how they can use them on their business. And this weekly forecast approach is based mainly on giving the idea of the trends, not the certain value of the prediction, but the trend for the week. So if you're talking to agriculture and saying to him that in 3 weeks we have for sure a precipitation of high value, I think for them it's important. Even I cannot say it's 10 millimeters or 100 millimeters of precipitation, but the trend I think is relevant for their activities. And of course, on the right side, you can see the parameters: air temperature, precipitation, wind, soil temperature, air humidity, evapotranspiration, cold hours, mainly indicators related to agriculture. Of course, this list is not finished. This list just started. It's important to all of you to understand this is an ongoing process, even for the data, not only for the concept, but also for the data. And this is, well, it's a print screen from what the application gives. You can see on the left side an approach with integration on councils, as you can see, and you have a small time evolution graphic where you can see the 20 days on the past and the 10 days in the future, and is represented on that small frame around the value. It's the uncertainty. The value of the uncertainty around the average value. So this is kind of the window that is provided to the user. On the right side, you can see it, the data in grid format. So this is a grid that's coming from the numerical model. That's what we have from the model. And that on the left side, that's what we can transform from this data, from the model to the units, the administrative units. Of course, using the administrative units, I don't know if fits well on the requirement from the agricultures. They don't know if the data is for the council of, I don't know, for Lisbon or I don't know, for another council. I think they really want to know the information for that point where they have the exploration or the business going on. But in terms of the analysis, giving this area approach, it's also for us defensive approach, because we know the models, even they are much better since the last 30 years. Now the model represents very well the data from the 3, 4, or 5 days in the future, but still had a lot of uncertainty going around. So for us, IPMA, the approach from having in the unit administrative units is good. And the way the agriculturists use the data, I think is enough. But this is something that, as I mentioned, still going. It's a still going process, and for sure more things will be done over this kind of approach of data. This is another overview. This is the weekly overview. As you can see, we have, one more time, this example on the right side is from the hydrological regions, which is also a good, that is also a good way to see this information, because it's not only for agriculture sector to use, but for instance, the hydrological sector could be also a very relevant user of this information, because we are giving information based on the hydrological regions, which are very relevant in a country. As you all know, there's the country with some problems related with the water using. So this is a two approach of seeing information on the forecast on the 4 weeks approach. On the, as I mentioned, on the right side you have the hydrological regions and the forecast for the precipitation. On the left side you have the information of the forecast for the temperature on the district approach. So this is, one more time, it's very easy for the user to interact with the data, and this is something that we build on basis on the user interaction and the user experience. And for us also it's kind of relevant because we adjust all the interaction to them. This is what I have to show you at the moment, but the next steps that we are prepared to develop and align with what I've mentioned is very relevant to create or to keep on with these workshops for each sector. It's segment sector. It's not the whole sector of agriculture, but for the small segments from the agriculture sector. This is something very relevant because on these workshops we can to have the knowledge of how they are using the data, but also for us to see how the user interact with the application. So it's very relevant that we keep on going with these workshops during a period of time. Of course, this is also relevant because we are, what I mentioned is just giving a window in the internet so the user can interact. But what we really need to know is to implement a notification system where the users can receive on their phone, for instance, the warnings they create. This is very relevant, I think. And this is also something that we want to bring on the next steps for this application. Of course, I'm mainly focused on the warnings, but this can be extended to the normal forecasts. And of course, that's what I'm trying to mention, to develop these my agroclimate warnings, that interface that the users can they can select the data they want to put on the warning. What I'm trying to say is they can bring the parameters and put the thresholds and select the period of the year, and the my warning is created. And after that, when he log in the application, his warning will be on the front line. And this idea of bringing notification to my warnings, it's one, I think it could be a very good achievement and for the next steps. So this is my final slides. I want to thank you all for the attention, but before I end, I want to go live to the application, if you allow me, because I think it's relevant to interact with the application. So this is what the application is giving us today. This is the warnings that are defined and created, and they are presented in the kind of highlights warnings that are online and they are active right now. So you can see the precipitation warnings. as you might not know, but we're having significant rain in some parts of Portugal, so this is mainly for the next days. As you see, each warning is adjusted to the segments. You can see a crop, cereals, and this is kind of a cork tree, and also corn. So the warnings are made for these, are active for these sectors at the moment. So we can see, and then we have a small graphic to interact with the data. It's not so much relevant at the moment, but here we have the interaction with the warnings. And when I jump to the warning segment, we can see also the highlights warnings that are active, but also we have the interaction with the application, and we can select the region, we can select what the administrative unit you want to see. We can go from the councils. Of course, I'm clicking in scalp, so we don't have warnings at the time of the year for scalp. But if I go to precipitation, we will have precipitation for maybe, I don't know, let me see, not for this kind of segment, but here we have the region where there is a warning issued for 24th of November. So the interaction with the application, as you see, is very easy, is very kind of user-friendly, and you can make fade in or fade out of the warnings. You can interact, you can go for another segment of agriculture sector, and this is a kind of approach that is available for the users to interact. Of course, only precipitation that we have available. I think we have also some wind, strong wind, but I don't know where is it, but it's somewhere there. Of course, the interaction with the spatial menu is also available. You can flow in the time bar, and this is for the warnings. And the other parameters, or the place where we can see the parameters, it's also have the same approach for the administrative regions. We can select what kind of integration we want to use, and then interacts easily with the menu. Of course, as I mentioned, we have a time window for the 10 days in the future, as you can see, but also we go back in time and using the observation data from IPMA network. So mainly is this the interaction that we develop, and is a little bit aligned with the requirements that the users ask for us. So what we are seeing now is a precipitation for this kind of the region of Aveiro, for instance, and we can see the values for the past that was recorded, but also the forecast values in the future. In this case, precipitation. We can do it for wind. One more time, the interaction is basically very basic, and it keeps homogenic along the interaction of the menus. We have what we call it the spatial dispersion. It's kind of the statistic approach for the region or the administrative units, but also we have the insertion of the model. That's what I mentioned to you a time ago. So in this case, we can see the spreads of the insertion of the model, and this is given an idea of the accuracy of the forecast for this region. And this is really relevant, and for us also it's very important to bring this discussion to the table with the stakeholders. This is a very interesting approach. Now I will just go to the forecasts of the temperature again, just to show you the weekly forecasts. So we have we developed, as I mentioned, an approach of a forecast window of 4 weeks, and this approach is available on the spatial resolution approach, but also in time bars. What we are seeing now here, it's one more time Aveiro, and sorry for selecting Aveiro, but it's my region, and but I can choose another one. But Aveiro, you can see as I mentioned, you can have the spatial time bar for the 4 weeks, but also we can interact with the 4 weeks in the graphic modes. This is very easy to use, as you can see. People can select what they want and the region that they want, and they can see what the forecast for the 4 weeks ahead will be. As I mentioned, this is kind of a trend This is not the value, it's a trend for the users to know what they can have for next weeks. So this is basically the interaction that we have developed and is available. Of course, we didn't spread the news of this application. It's not a secret. It's still under use of the agriculture sector. Of course, from now on, will be more users using it. But we still develop a few things on the application. But I think this, from the experience that we're having and the feedback from the users, the application is very robust at the moment, and we want just to incorporate that news that we want to bring to the next steps. So basically is what I want to present to you, and thank you one more time for your attention, and thank you very much.